What we do in life echoes in eternity.
The movie Get Out is a movie of many mysteries and hidden symbolism. The movie is so fascinating that many people of different nationalities, belief systems, and backgrounds can't stop talking about it. In this video, UPTV will be going beyond the conversation and show you proof that this movie is more real than you know. There will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen this movie yet, pause the video and go see it. You can also now pre-order it on Blu-ray and DVD now. Link is in the description. My name is Devin Worlds, and today on Mysteries of the Universe, we will be discussing Get Out, the new and fascinating horror movie by Jordan Peele. We will also be discussing mind control and The Sunken Place. Now sink.
A divorce lawyer is meeting with a female client, but you've never seen an attorney behave like this guy.
1, 2, 3, sleep.
He's using hypnosis to prey on women who are in a vulnerable time in their lives.
As I rock you gently, the deepness of that sleep gets even better, more relaxed. Every part of you goes limp. 1, 2, 3, limp.
Listen how lurid he gets.
When you look into my eyes, you're going to feel such attraction and arousal.
And how's this for creepy?
And have you missed me?
Attorney Michael Fine told clients he was using hypnosis as a relaxation technique as they discussed their divorce. A session would start like this.
Let's take a deep breath. One more time. Okay, I gotta calm down. Let's do this together. You're gonna feel a wave of relaxation.
But as this secretly recorded video shows, once this unsuspecting woman came under his spell, he implanted lewd suggestions.
Every time I touch you, it's going to be an incredible sensation of incredible arousal and excitement and intense pleasure.
Some of the conversation is too raunchy to air.
It just makes me sick knowing that that's the kind of stuff that went on.
Melissa, who asked us not to use her last name, says she was also taken advantage of by Fine. When you'd come out of these meetings, were you aware of being quote-unquote unconscious or quote-unquote in that state?
Imagine sitting down and watching TV, and then you stand up, and why are your pants unzipped? Why is your shirt tucked out of your pants?
Fine's creepy deeds were exposed when a client wondered why her clothing was disheveled after a visit to his office outside Cleveland. She went to cops and agreed to take a hidden camera the next time she consulted him. Fine puts her under, and the inappropriate behavior begins.
Your entire body is a vessel of pleasure.
But cops are listening in, and Fine's Svengali routine is about to come to a sudden end.
Police officers, step over here.
Yes, sir.
Don't touch anything. Don't move. Just sit down.
Fine pleaded guilty to charges of kidnapping and attempted kidnapping involving 6 women. Laura Mills is Melissa's attorney.
He took these women at their most vulnerable point in their lives and he abused their trust. He's a predator.
1, 2, 3, sleep.
Mind control, also known as brainwashing, is a theory that human subjects can be indoctrinated in a way that causes an impairment of autonomy, an inability to think independently, and a disruption of beliefs and affiliations. The Oxford English Dictionary records the earliest known English language usage of brainwashing in an article by newspaperman Edward Hunter. In Miami News, published on September 24th of 1950, Hunter, an outspoken anti-communist and said to be a CIA agent working undercover as a journalist, wrote a series of books and articles on the theme of Chinese brainwashing, and the word brainwashing quickly became a stock phrase in Cold War headlines. But is mind control real? Many people believe so, including Howie Mandel, who was hypnotized on his show America's Got Talent by hypnotist Chris Jones.
We're back at 8:46. NBC's summer hit America's Got Talent kicked off its 10th season last night, and something happened between Judge Howie Mandel, to my left here,
You can just call me Howie.
Howie, and a hypnotist. Take a look.
In a moment
Everyone has on the smallest, thinnest latex gloves. You won't notice it, but everyone is wearing gloves. Wide awake, my friend.
Hi, nice to see you today.
That's crazy.
Okay, this was not a setup.
No.
Are you still upset about it?
I was upset about it, and it's hard for me to watch. And, you know, I didn't know. I was not prepared for that to happen. I was prepared, you know, as somebody on a show that is a competition, I wanted to be fair, so I was open. I wasn't going to block. I was open to be hypnotized. I didn't know what he was going to ask me to do, and I felt very kind of somewhat betrayed when it happened. But you know, I've been to therapy since, and I'm
literally you've been to therapy.
I did. You know, and my therapist explained to me that this was a good thing. You know, I do behavioral therapy. I have
because
OCD.
for people who don't know, you have OCD. This is a real thing. This
it
isn't
is a real
joke.
thing, but that was a real thing. And you know, for those that I've been reading online, social media, you know, there are people who don't believe it. You know what you're doing, but it's kind of like you were at a party and you had drinks or Xanax and you don't care.
Like your guard
in the
is
moment.
down.
Yeah, but now as soon as he snapped me out of it, my guard is back up, and he didn't cure me.
Okay, that was my next question.
In 1999, forensic psychologist Dick Anthony concluded that the CIA had invented the concept of brainwashing as a propaganda strategy to undercut communist claims that American pals in the Korean communist camps had voluntarily expressed sympathy for communism. He argued that the books of Edward Hunter, whom he identified as a secret CIA psychological warfare specialist passing as a journalist, pushed the CIA brainwashing theory onto the general public. Succumbing to their own propaganda, for 20 years starting in the early 1950s, the CIA and the Defense Department conducted secret research, notably including Project MKULTRA, in an attempt to develop practical brainwashing techniques. The results are unknown. Well, unless you ask Rosanna, that is.
Is the media and entertainment responsible for perpetuating a rape culture?
Yeah, I think the media is responsible for perpetuating a rape culture. And, you know, I mean, it's profitable for the people at the top who run the rape culture, you know, who run it, and, you know, they profit from it. And to say otherwise would be a big fat lie. But so, you know, they don't want any kind of power shifted away from the way they have it set up in a very hierarchical manner with, you know, women's free labor at the bottom, largely slave labor, at the bottom of that big pyramid.
You've been a Hollywood insider for so long, yet you've been vocal for so long. I mean, how challenging is it to see your colleagues across Hollywood lacking for the Obama administration when they have so much power and influence that they could single-handedly shape the dialogue when so many people are watching them?
Well, I think that, you know, this is a culture of fear, and nobody's more afraid than people in Hollywood. They're afraid that they'll drop out of the top, you know, they're afraid that they'll drop from the bottom of the pyramid, maybe to the middle of the pyramid. But, you know, they're the ones, Hollywood is the one that keeps all this power structure and all this culture of racism and sexism and classism and genderism and all of it in place. They continually feed it, and they make a lot of money doing it. And they do it at the behest of their masters who run everything. So, you know, they're not going to get brave enough to do that. I mean, I think that there aren't many of us who are brave enough to do that. And I'm just, you know, I'm lucky that I can do it, and I feel that I do it on behalf of many people in Hollywood too. I go to Hollywood parties, or, you know, occasionally I go to Oscar parties and things like that. And people, big stars, people will grab me by the arm and take me aside and say, "I just want to thank you for the things you say." And it blows my mind, but that's the culture. It's a culture of fear for sure. You know, and it's a big culture of mind control too. MKUltra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know, Google that and look into it.
Well, we've talked about Operation Mockingbird, MKUltra mind control stuff from, I mean, this goes back decades and decades. But Rosanna, I mean, do you know people have been blacklisted? I mean, is it just kind of a self-censorship in Hollywood, or do people actually get edged out if they are too much against the grain?
Yeah, it's self-censorship after a while, but it's not just a crazy self-censorship. It's self-censorship because there's actually a danger that you will never work again. And people know it. Everybody has friends that it happened to, that maybe you said too much or maybe you were too vocal on unpopular issues. And it's funny because it doesn't matter if 2 years later, I find this a lot, that 2 years later those unpopular issues become very mainstream. They still don't forgive the first person who does it. And that's kind of been my story there. When you're first, you're going to be vilified, despite the fact that 2 years later everybody's saying what you said. You're still going to be vilified because you dared. And like they say, the Chinese, the Chinese have a myth or a saying that says the nail that stands up is hammered down, and that's how it is here and everywhere in the world. Right. You don't really want to put yourself at odds with people who decide your future and pay for your work. But sometimes you have to. And I was very lucky that I had a successful show that made me a lot of money, and so that I can do that. And I feel that I owe that to the people I came from, to say those things that maybe they can't say because they're afraid they'll be fired, or they're afraid even that they'll be put in jail or whatever. I'm going to do it because why not?
CIA experiments using various psychedelic drugs such as LSD and mescaline was drawn from Nazi scientists' research during World War II. Project MKUltra, sometimes referred to as the CIA's mind control program, is the code name given to a program of experiments on human subjects, at times illegal, designed and undertaken by the United States Central Intelligence Agency. Experiments on humans were intended to identify and develop drugs and procedures to be used in interrogations and torture, in order to weaken the individual to force confession through mind control. Organized through the Scientific Intelligence Division of the CIA, the project coordinated with the Special Operations Division of the U.S. Army's Chemical Corps. The operation began in the early 1950s, was officially sanctioned in 1953, was reduced in scope in 1964, and further curtailed in 1967, officially halted in 1973. The program engaged in many illegal activities, including the use of unwitting U.S. and Canadian citizens as its test subjects, which led to controversy regarding its legitimacy. MKUltra used numerous methodologies to manipulate people's mental states and alter brain functions, including the surreptitious administration of drugs, especially LSD and other chemicals, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal and sexual abuse, as well as other forms of psychological torture. The scope of Project MKUltra was broad, with research undertaken at 80 institutions, including 44 colleges and universities, as well as hospitals, prisons, pharmaceutical companies. The CIA operated through these institutions using front organizations, although sometimes top officials at these institutions were aware of the CIA's involvement. As the U.S. Supreme Court later noted, MKUltra was concerned with the research and development of chemical, biological, and radiological materials capable of employment in clandestine operations to control human behavior. The program consisted of some 149 subjects, which the agency contracted out to various universities, research foundations, and similar institutions. At least 80 institutions and 185 private researchers participated because the agency funded MKUltra indirectly. Many of the participating individuals were unaware that they were even dealing with the agency. Project MKUltra was first brought to the public's attention in 1970 by the Church Committee of the U.S. Congress and a Gerald Ford Commission to investigate CIA activities within the United States. Investigative efforts were hampered by the fact that the CIA Director Richard Helms ordered all MKUltra files destroyed in 1973. The Church Committee and Rockefeller Commission investigations relied on the sworn testimony of the direct participants and on the relatively small number of documents that survived Helms' destruction order. In 1977, a Freedom of Information Act request uncovered a cache of 20,000 documents relating to Project MKUltra, which led to Senate hearings later that same year. In July 2001, some surviving information regarding MKUltra was declassified. So what does the CIA MKUltra program have to do with the movie Get Out? Many argue that the movie was all about MKUltra, and the movie may have a more eerie and deeper meaning than we know. Get Out is a new horror film created by Jordan Peele, and everybody seems to love this movie. But why does this movie seem to fascinate so many people? Perhaps we were put under mind control watching it in the theater. Sounds crazy, I know, but did you know that the movie theaters used to use subliminal advertising as a form of mind control on audiences across the US? In 1957, a market researcher named James Vickery inserted the words "eat popcorn" and "drink Coca-Cola" into a movie. The words appeared for a single frame, allegedly long enough for the subconscious to pick up, but too short for the viewer to be aware of it. The subliminal ad supposedly created an 18.1% increase in Coke sales and a 57.8% increase in popcorn sales. Vickery results turned out to be a hoax, but more recent experiments have shown that subliminal messages actually can affect behavior in small ways. A Harvard study from 1999 employed a similar method to Vickery's. Subjects played a computer game in which a series of words flashed before them for a few thousandths of a second. One set got positive words like wise, astute, and accomplished. The other set got words like senile, dependent, and disease. Despite the fact that these words flashed far too quickly to be consciously perceived, those who received positive words exited the room significantly faster than those who got negative words. However, William Peter Blatty, author of The Exorcist, prominently spoke out against subliminals when the movie adaptation of his book came under fire for including allegedly subliminal messaging. He said, "There are no subliminal images. If you can see it, it's not subliminal." So, do advertisers consciously choose to include subliminal messages in their ads? Can they harness subliminal power to associate their products with sex and power? If so, does it actually affect a consumer's buying decision? You be the judge. Check out these images of subliminal messages in favorite kids shows and movies and tell me if you think they have an effect or not. If subliminal messaging does work as a form of mind control, it is definitely not as effective as MKUltra. According to Rosanna, MKUltra rules in Hollywood, and through further investigation, I'm starting to believe her. Because of copyright laws, we can't actually show you any of these music videos, but links will be in the description for you to fully observe for yourself. Check out these scenes from the B.O.B. and Nicki Minaj music video. You find B.O.B. and Nicki trapped in an insane asylum, and everything in this video is symbolic, and the music video is so similar to the movie Get Out that you can question if this is where Jordan Peele got his idea for Get Out. This video begins with B.O.B. locked away in a room in an asylum. We see 4 lights that turn on that form a square or cube. Because we are limited on time, we can't go into full detail of the cube symbolism, but no need to worry because we already done a video about it. Link is in the description, of course. You can clearly see that B.O.B. has been kidnapped and is stuck waiting for his MKUltra programming. He doesn't want his mind messed with, but they take him forcefully, just as Chris, the main character in Get Out, was forcefully taken. In Get Out, Chris goes with his white girlfriend to meet her family. When they arrive, the viewer and the main character gets to see the family's home, which is a huge mansion sitting on a lot of land. To the viewer and to Chris, you are only thinking that the family is rich, but is there something deeper here? Does the family actually live in an insane asylum? When you think of an insane asylum, most people don't think of a beautiful mansion because Hollywood often shows insane asylums as creepy looking places, but in reality, many insane asylums are very beautiful and you wouldn't even suspect the horrific things that are taking place inside. As we take a deeper look, B.O.B. even says in the lyrics of the song, "This is not figurative, this is literally," meaning that he is not just speaking in metaphors and rapping clever lines, but actually means what he is saying. What's even more crazy is just like they hit a deer in the movie Get Out, Bob makes a rap line about hitting a deer in this song. Shortly after, you see the pretty white girl who seems to actually represent the woman who brought Bob to the asylum. They even make flirtatious gestures towards each other as if something romantic was going on between them. The song ends with Bob and Nikki saying, "Wait, if I'm here and you're there," repeatedly. I believe this represents the completion of MKULTRA, and the personality or consciousness of the victims were now in the sunken place, and the MKULTRA personality has taken over completely. If I'm here and you're there. If I'm here and you're there. If I'm here and you're there. And to no surprise, you see the same reoccurring theme for many artists, like this video, Martians vs. Goblins by rapper The Game and Tyler, the Creator, or this video Crazy by Lil Wayne, or this video Am I a Psycho by Tech9, and yes, even this video Wide Awake by Katy Perry. Because we are short on time, we don't have time to break down each individual video, but I suggest watching them and noticing how all these artists are more and more telling you the same thing. They all want to get out. What we do want to show you should shock you though. It's a song by Lauryn Hill, and it is probably the most important song of all these. In the song, Lauryn has lyrics that are amazing and scary to think about. She says things like, "I get out, I'll get out of all your boxes." The boxes that she speaks of is referring to the TV, cell phones, computer screens, and everything else made in the shape of a box or cube. She continues by saying things like, "Blinded me through mind control, stealing my internal soul, appealing through material to keep me as your slave. You be smart to save your soul, oh, and escape this mind control. You spent your life in sacrifice to a system for the dead. Oh, are you sure? Where is the passion in your living? Are you sure it's God that you are serving? Obligated to a system, getting less than you're deserving. Who made up these schools, I say? Who made up these rules, I say? Animal conditioning, oh, just to keep me as your slave. But I get out, oh, I'll get out of all your boxes. I'll get out, oh, you can't hold me in these chains. I get out, oh, I want out of social bondage. Knowing my condition, oh, is the reason I must change. If this doesn't remind you of a horror story like the movie Get Out, then nothing will. Maybe this is all just one big conspiracy theory. But is it? You decide. What happens when the other personality of these people take over? To me, it seems like the original host of the body falls into the sunken place. The sunken place is a realm deep in the mind where a person's body is paralyzed and crushed by the weight of psychological trauma. When the consciousness of another person or personality takes over, the original person finds themselves in a sort of a sunken place where they can only remember and observe so much because they are no longer in control. It would seem that only one personality can dominate at a time. So what happens to the other person inside? We at UPTV believe that they enter the sunken place.
That's like a new movie and stuff.
Baby, that movie is, I watched it fucking 4 months ago on DVD.
Where have I been?
Over here? You've been on tour.
I'm confused because I feel like I've been missing out.
Missing out on what?
On life.
I really don't think that that's the truth.
You think this is what I have to talk about.
Okay.
I feel like I've been missing out on life.
Like what part of life?
Life, like things going on. Like I feel like I'm behind or something. I know that sounds so weird, but
No,
I
it
do.
doesn't. It's all the partying.
Huh?
It's all the partying.
What are you talking about, all the partying?
That's why you feel that way.
Perhaps all of this is just speculation, or perhaps the movie Get Out is more real than we know. What we can tell you though is that there is more proof and evidence that the movie Get Out is real. Next week on Mysteries of the Universe, we will be taking a deeper look into the truth behind aliens and other worlds. So don't forget to like and subscribe to both of our channels, UPTV and UPTV2. So do you think the movie Get Out is real? We will leave it up to you to decide. Let us know what you think in the comments, and as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching UPTV2. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to UPTV2 and UPTV, or watch one of these great videos here and enjoy. Peace.